in Sesko this weekend, a player, of course, they looked at signing before Victor Gyökeres. Well, as for Sesko, he chose Manchester United over Newcastle, as we know, and in his first interview with the club, he told us why.
First of all, of course, because of the club. It's just a historical club that is unbelievable. For me, the team is great. It's getting better and better, and that's why also there is just stuff that it made you like come there. You know, it gives you this already kind of, let's say, energy that you want to be part of. And yeah, I think it's just a great project in general, and yeah, can't wait to start, definitely.
Did Ruben Amorim play a part in that decision, obviously wanting to come here and play for him?
Of course, I think this is a really important part in general in football. Great guy, great coach, and so we're going to start, it's important.
Right, Dharmesh, so Sesko in, does that mean Højlund out?
It doesn't look good for Højlund with regard to his Manchester United future, but there are clubs that are interested in him, not least AC Milan. They remain in talks with Manchester United over the signing of the Danish international. Milan, for their part, they want to do a loan deal with an option to buy. I think Manchester United would prefer a permanent deal for Rasmus Højlund, or at least have some sort of permanent element attached to any kind of loan deal. And I think they would probably consider offers of around £40 million. Now, that could come in two forms. If they were to sell him now and get £40 million, I think they'd consider it. If it was a loan with an option, then maybe they can be quite creative with it, a loan fee, and then the rest of that £40 million made up in an option price later on down the line. I think it's being made clear to Højlund now. I don't think he's under any illusions that maybe Manchester United do want him out. He was an unused substitute in United's pre-season friendly against Fiorentina at the weekend. Ruben Amorim actually chose to play Mason Mount in a false nine ahead of Rasmus Højlund.
That's a massive sign, isn't it?
It is. And I'm sure he's aware of everything that's going on. He's clearly seen Sesko come into the club and him not getting much match time, even though he was the only striker that was available to them that day. But anyway, he has said he wants to stay and fight for his place. But it's now becoming abundantly clear that he's joined the likes of Jadon Sancho, Garnacho, Malacia, Antony, and previously Rashford as players that United would want to get out of the club.
So the famous five became six, well, it became four, didn't it? Because
it's back to five again.
Back to five,
yeah.
Goodness. All right, what about any more people joining United? Anything else?
Well, we should say that following Sesko's arrival, I think that the focus, even before Sesko arrived, was on sales. Not necessarily making those sales before players come in, but having an assurance and a knowledge that before the end of the window, some of these sales would happen. We mentioned Rasmus Højlund and AC Milan. Borussia Dortmund still pushing to sign Jadon Sancho. You've got Chelsea and Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United are definitely expecting a formal offer from Chelsea for Garnacho. Real Betis, yes, they are still trying to sign Antony, however difficult that deal looks. So that would be the priority. However, rather like I said about Arsenal before, if a unique market opportunity was to come along in the remaining 3 weeks of this window, Manchester United want to be in a position where they would be able to do this unique market opportunity. Now, throughout this window, we've talked about areas that they wanted to strengthen, which they have done, particularly in the front line. It's an entire new front three. But central midfielder, talk of that has not gone away. And I don't know whether it's been accentuated, even though United have played OK during pre-season. Some of the criticisms aimed towards them have been the makeup of that central midfield. They are interested in Carlos Baleba from Brighton and Hove Albion. They like the player a lot. They've explored the conditions of a deal. It is going to be a very, very difficult deal to do for many reasons, not least Brighton have got no intention to sell. They don't want to sell. They're under no pressure to sell. He's still got 3 years left on his contract. They've got an option for a further year, and they would want to charge. I mean, some people have even talked about touching 100 million here. So
that's exactly what United need, though, isn't he?
You could argue that that is what they would need. But as far as Brighton are concerned, not for sale, do not want to sell. However, he hasn't featured since July, mid-July, in pre-season, but that's because of a minor knee issue. And I think a lot of people made more of that when he missed the last game when the United interest came, but it was for the same reason that he'd missed the previous 2 games as well.
Damish, everybody knows that there are 5 players at United surplus to requirements. Does that put United in a really weak negotiating position?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that Manchester United wanted to do business for these players, but the way that football works now in the finances, it's not just about transfer fees. It's about getting wages off the books as well, so that they can go into the market and perhaps do deals using how PSR works. Amortised over a length of a contract is how the transfer fee would be paid. So more and more, if players on high wages, that has become almost as important as when you get the transfer fee as well, even though United would want to maximise the transfer fee. But clearly, of course, when it almost made public knowledge, not directly from the club, of course, that you want to sell 5 or 6 players, clubs might say, well, we'll just wait then. Wait towards the end of the window and then United will get desperate. Even though Ruben Amorim has said all the right things publicly, if that doesn't happen, we'll reintegrate them into the squad. It's not a problem. But clearly, they want them out. They want to maximise their money. They want to get the wages off the books so that maybe, just maybe, later on in the window, they might just go back in to bring another player in.
Yeah, it's got me going. Gianluigi Donnarumma, could he be leaving PSG for real?
It's certainly looking that way. PSG faced Tottenham Hotspur in the Super Cup on Wednesday, and Gianluigi Donnarumma has been omitted from that squad for PSG. Today, PSG announced the signing of a keeper. That's Lille's Lucas Chevalier. He's joined PSG. He hasn't joined to be number 2. He's joined there to be the number 1 goalkeeper. And these latest developments, the fact that he's been out of the squad and that they brought in this new keeper, has thrown into major doubt the future of Gianluigi Donnarumma at PSG. Now, I've been told today that he will only leave if a project is seen as the right fit and he will not be forced out. Now, earlier on in this transfer window, it was understood that Manchester United had kept an eye on his situation. That's it, amid doubts over Andre Onana's future. However, Onana has now Onana's future training, and as it stands, he's expected to stay at Old Trafford. There are at least 2 other Premier League clubs who have explored the conditions of a potential deal for Donnarumma.
I bet they have.
That's via intermediaries, so we don't think there's been direct club-to-club contact as yet, but significantly, Donnarumma has entered the final year of his contract now. So PSG, if he's not going to sign a new contract and he is on massive, massive money there at the moment, they will probably want to do some sort of deal. Now, if you look at Donnarumma's situation, the amount of money he would be on, PSG would see that as a win just to get those wages off the books. So it might not mean necessarily a club would need to go in with a massive transfer fee. As long as they paid the wages, you'll be looking at, close to 15 to 20 million pound saving straight away for PSG. Definitely one to keep an eye on, because it looks for all the money that Donnarumma's going to move, and for his own sake, he probably does need to move because there's a World Cup at the end of the year. He's going to need to be playing.
Cool, what a story that is. All right.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's another exciting day in the world of football transfers. You're watching Man United Sky TV, your #1 stop for everything Manchester United. And today, we've got a big one. Are Manchester United about to sign Brighton's midfield powerhouse, Carlos Baleba? There's a lot to unpack: Brighton's stance, United's spending spree, and the comparisons being made to a certain €115 million Chelsea signing. Let's dive straight in. Carlos Baleba, just 21 years old, is one of the most highly rated young midfielders in the Premier League right now. Last season, he made 40 appearances across all competitions for Brighton, scoring 4 goals and providing 2 assists. What's even more impressive, his game isn't just about numbers. He's a dynamic, ball-winning midfielder with energy, strength, and the ability to drive forward from deep. Think of a blend between Yaya Touré's power and N'Golo Kanté's work rate, and you start to see why top clubs are circling. In the last 12 months alone, his estimated transfer value has skyrocketed by over €40 million. That kind of growth doesn't happen unless you're consistently delivering high-level performances. Now, Here's where it gets interesting. Brighton are absolutely determined to keep Baleba for at least another season. They value him as highly as Moises Caicedo, the man they sold to Chelsea for €115 million just last year. Let's be clear, Brighton are masters in the transfer market. They don't sell cheap. They know exactly how to maximize value for their talent, and they've proved time and time again they can hold out until a club meets their price. If Baleba is on the same level as Caicedo in their eyes, we're talking a massive fee, potentially over €100 million. Now let's look at United's situation. So far this summer, Manchester United have been on a spending spree. We've already seen Benjamin Sesko arrive from RB Leipzig, Brian Mbeumo from Brentford, Mateus Cunha from Wolves, and Diego Leon, the highly rated young defender. The total, a staggering €229.7 million already spent. That's before even talking about the potential Baleba deal. And here's the thing, United are also looking for a new goalkeeper. There are genuine concerns over the long-term future of Andre Onana. If they go big for a keeper and also pursue Baleba, this could turn into one of the most expensive transfer windows in club history. So why would United push for Baleba despite already having spent so heavily? Well, manager Ruben Amorim is said to be a big admirer. His philosophy demands a high-energy midfield that can press, recover the ball quickly, and transition into attack. Baleba ticks every single box. He's young, durable, and already proven in the Premier League. He wouldn't just be a squad player, he'd be a potential starter alongside the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo. With Christian Eriksen already gone this summer and Casemiro's future uncertain, United need fresh legs in the middle. Baleba could be that long-term solution. Here's the big question, can United really afford this deal after such heavy spending? Financial fair play rules mean the club would need to be careful. But we've seen in the past that when United really want a player, they find a way. That could mean player sales. We've already heard whispers that several fringe players could be moved on to raise funds. If United can shift some wages and bring in cash, Baleba might just be possible. Remember, Moises Caicedo went to Chelsea for €115 million in 2023. Brighton are saying Baleba is just as valuable. If that's the case, United might have to break the bank again. Is Baleba worth Caicedo money? Well, you can argue that in today's market, young Premier League proven midfielders are like gold dust. The potential return on investment, both in performance and future resale value, could justify it. So what's next? Negotiations haven't been confirmed as advanced yet, but there's definitely strong interest from United's side. Brighton will play hardball, and this could drag on until late in the window. The key will be whether United can balance their squad needs, goalkeeper, midfield, and possibly more, with the financial reality of such a huge fee. If they can make the numbers work, this could be one of the biggest signings of the summer. So, what do you think? Should Manchester United go all out to sign Carlos Baleba, even if it means paying over €100 million? Or should they focus on other positions first? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all for today's update. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Man United Sky TV for all the latest transfer news. I'll be here every step of the way as we count down to the end of the window. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.